Miss Matt, this is Yellow Sama. Today I'm going to present a social science project about the 100 Years' War. What was the 100 Years' War? The 100 Years' War was a series of conflicts fought between England and France over succession to the French throne. It lasted 116 years and saw many major battles, from the Battle of Crecy in 1346 to the Battle of Agincourt in 1415, which was a major English victory over the French. when Charles the seventh of France died without son in 1328, Charles' first cousin was chosen to succeed, becoming King Philip uh, the sixth. Yet Edward the Third of England, as the deceased king's nearest male relation, was considered by some to have the stronger claim. When Philip the Sixth confis- confiscated the Duchy of Aquitaine from England in 1337, Edward III responded by pressing his claim to the French throne, beginning the Hundred Years' War. The status of the English, the status of the English king's French fiefs was a major source of conflict between the two monarchies throughout the Middle Ages. French monarchs systematically sought to check the growth of English power, stripping away lands as the opportunity arose. Particularly whenever England was at war with Scotland, an ally of France, English holdings in France had varied in size at some points, dwarfing even the French royal domain by 1337. However, only Gascony was English. The early years of the war saw resounding English successes, but by 1378 the French under King Charles the Wise had reconquered most of the lands. They lost in the Treaty of Brittany, signed in 1360, leaving the English with only a few cities on the continent. In the following decades, a few cities on the continent in the following decades, the weakening of the royal authority and the combined with a difficult economic context led to a period of civil war in both countries, struggles from which England emerged first. The newly crowned Henry V of England seized the opportunity presented by the mental illness of Charles VI of France, and the French Civil War between Armagnacs and Burgundians to revive the conflict. Overwhelming victories at Agincourt in 1415 and Brno in 1424, as well as an alliance with the Burgundians, raised the prospects of an ultimate English triumph and persuaded the English to continue war over many decades. However, a variety of factors such as the death of Henry V, the emergence of Joan of Arc, which boosted French morale, and loss of Burgundy as an ally, marking the end of the Civil War in France, prevented it. The Siege of Orleans in 1429 announced the beginning of the end for English hopes of conquest. Even with the eventual capture of Joan by the Burgundians and her execution in 1431, a series of crushing French victories, such as those at Patay in 1429, Forming in 1450 and Castilian in 1453, concluded the war in favor of the continental possessions, with only the Pale of Calais remaining under its control on the continent until the Siege of Calais in 1558. Later, historians adopted the term Hundred Years' War as a historiographical periodization to encompass all of these events, thus constructing the longest military conflict in European history. But they commonly divide the war into epochs. But they commonly divide the war into three phases separated by truces. The Edwardian War, 1337 and 1360, the Caroline War, the 1369 and 1389, and the Lancastrian War, 1415 and 1453. Local conflicts in neighboring areas, which were contemporarily related to the war, including the War of the Britain Succession, the Castilian Civil War, and the War of the Two Peters in Aragon, and the 1383 and 1385 crisis in Portugal were used by the parties to advance their agendas. اعمل بوست يبقى سيبك من النقطة. يا ابني سيبك منها.
انا بكمل يا
The timeline, the Hundred Years' War. In 1337, here was the start of the Hundred Years' War. In the 1346 was the Battle of Crécy. In 1356 was the Battle of Poitiers, and in 1360 was the Treaty of Brittany. In 1376, the death of Black Prince has occurred, and in 1415, the Battle of Agincourt has occurred also. In 1420, the Treaty of the Troyes, and in 1429, the end siege of Orleans, and in 1453, the last battle, the Battle of the Castellum. These are the sites that helped me do this project: it's Wikipedia and History Extra. Thank you for watching my presentation. Give me a good grades.